The Israeli Defense Forces identified more than 200 projectiles lobbed at them, though no casualties have been yet reported. The Iran-backed Hezbollah vowed to intensify those attacks. Does this indicate a major escalation is on the horizon? To answer that, we are bringing in now Walid Phares. Walid is a former foreign policy advisor to President Trump. He's also the author of Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy. Let's start with Hezbollah, the attacks, and what appears to be potentially an escalation. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. We are witnessing the genesis of the escalation as we see it on our screens. The screens north of Israel is burning, south of Lebanon is burning. Both sides are hitting it very hard. But what the American public needs to understand, what's behind Hezbollah? Why is Hezbollah escalating? Because they are the ones who are starting. Because Hezbollah is ordered by the Iran regime. First of all, they've controlled most of Lebanon. I would say now 99% of Lebanon, they control the government. So when CNN says Lebanon is bombarding Israel, no, it's Hezbollah backed by the Islamic regime that are bombarding Israel. And the problem here, Lou, is that Hezbollah has a direct geographical lane on the ground highway all the way to Iran, unlike Hamas that is completely surrounded. So that risks to be a very long war.
Well, this is extraordinary that we were watching this at this moment. And we keep talking about Hezbollah, Hamas, but too few people are talking about Iran. And Iran is obviously the principal actor in all of this. Is this headed toward a direct conflict between Israel and Iran?
Lou, you and I had so many sessions over the years now, almost predicting and projecting that at the end of the day, it's going to be a war directly between the Islamic Republic of Iran, not even Iran. It's really a Khomeinists jihadi regime, and Israel. Israel tried to avoid that. They tried to intercept what Tehran has been sending in terms of weapons and all sorts of equipment to Hezbollah in Lebanon, in Syria, and Iraq. And we've seen over the past months how these militias funded by the Islamic Republic. And by the way, let me take an advantage here to say all that money, or most of that money used by Tehran to buy these weapons comes from where, Lou? You and I know, from the Iran deal. We have been shipping billions and billions of dollars, transferring them to the regime and the regime funds. And Israel finds itself now fighting the money that we sent to the Islamic Republic. That is really sad.
It is sad. And at this point, do you see any way in which the Biden regime, so long as it's in office, will be supporting Israel directly with Iran? Because their embrace of Iran looks to be an anti-Israel position geopolitically and in terms of Biden foreign policy.
Unfortunately, the Obama-Biden foreign policy has always been to create that bridge, that collaboration agreement with the Iran regime, which means that basically they are pressuring the Israelis to stop the fight against Hamas, to stop the fight against Hezbollah, although they have started it, right, on October 7th. And when the Biden administration is asking the Israeli government to enforce a ceasefire without getting Hamas disarmed, what would that mean? It means that this administration, in a way or another, consciously or not, I'm sure there is a part of the administration that is very conscious of that, the Iran lobby, they are siding against Israel at the end of the day. They say, oh, we're sending you some weapons, but do not use them, ceasefire. What are we talking about? We are allowing Hamas, Hezbollah, the Islamic regime, and all militias in the region, including the Houthis as far south as Yemen, to be the winner at the end of the day.
Well, the Iranians are the winner because they are controlling all of the shipping in the Gulf. They are controlling what is happening or not happening in terms of conflict, attacks. Why is this administration putting up with it?
For example, you mentioned the maritime waterways, very important. Look, U.S. forces have been able to bring down a million strong army by Saddam Hussein in 32 days. nothing to compare with the Yemen. Bring down the Gaddafi regime. Take the Taliban in 3 weeks. Are you telling me that U.S. armed forces cannot terminate the Houthis and stay 6-7 months watching them and taking care of detail? No, this is an order coming from the administration. Do not defeat the Houthis. Why? And here's the answer. Because we are in negotiations with for the Iran deal. And what does that mean? Iran deals means billions of dollars going to the regime. But here's what I discovered in my book, or uncovered in my book, that some of that money is returning to the West. It's like brokers. You send $150 billion to such a regime, which is not using them for the purpose of peace and economic development. 10% is coming back to the West, coming back to consulting, coming back to media, to academia. That's why we have those demonstrations of so-called pro-Hamas, pro-jihadists. Where is the money coming from? It all comes from the same source, the Iran deal. And that's why our administration is not clear in fighting Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, and others.
So where does this end? How does it move forward? And will it be an unhappy ending?
Well, first of all, Israel has to continue on Rafah, has to defeat Hamas. There is no other choice. If you don't defeat Hamas, basically, Hamas will defeat you. And not just Israel. Hamas will turn against Egypt, and they've done so in the past, against Saudi Arabia, against the UAE. It's the whole region here at this point in time. And we need to wait to have another administration. I don't see how we're going to convince this administration. I mean, look at the president. Now I'm convinced he's not even able to process what's going on. I mean, look at the videos of the last week in Normandy. And I don't want to attack personalities of anybody, including the president, but this is a reality. This administration's decision on Middle Eastern affairs is in the hands of the Iran lobby at the end of the day. So only a new administration with a new team on foreign policy can probably save the situation in the region.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about offending anyone. The reality is that the national left-wing media in this country is absolutely sold out to the fiction that this president is not a puppet president. He is active, he's engaged, he has full mental capacity, even though every evening there's evidence that he is, in point of fact, cognitively impaired. He is most times lost and blabbering utter gibberish. Others. It's a dangerous moment we're in when the national corporate media will not recognize that this president is certainly not fit to be commander-in-chief, president of the United States. And I don't know how in the world our enemies feel about that, but I would think they could only be encouraged. Walid Phares, as always, great to have you with us. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Luke.
Good to see you.